What I call it is spoon feeding. So let's say a bowler is on the mark and let's say the situation is tough. He looks at you, you tell him, okay, do this, do this, do this. Next time, similar scenario, he again looks at you. So it becomes spoon feeding. So he's not using his brain. So him as a cricketer, his development will be very slow. So a lot of times people, they would like, why did you go and tell him something? I'm like, you can't always keep doing it. So after 5 games or 10 games or a year, I want him to have his own plans. And the only way it will happen is when you give him that role and responsibility with the accountability. So you let him decide what he wants to do, because that way he learns about his game. He learns about his role, his responsibility. And you give him time and opportunity to become a better player. So you keep telling him, in a difficult scenario, he'll just try to look for you, okay, what's the plan? So it doesn't really work. And fear is very important. You need to have that fear, because if I don't have fear, I can never be brave. I can never be courageous. So I always felt that fear is important, that pressure is important, because that helps me take the right decision, keeping everything in mind. If I don't have fear, a lot of people talk about I'm fearless. If you are fearless, then you will be reckless. Because if I don't have fear, I won't respect the normal things. If I don't have fear of height, let's say nothing. So it hardly matters whether I'm walking on the road or I'm walking on a rope. So I felt all these things are important for the development of an individual. I think the world has changed a lot, and I feel being honest to yourself is the first thing. I've seen people lying to themselves also, but unless you accept, the shortcomings, you won't really look for a solution. So what is important is to be honest to yourself. That's the first and foremost thing. Then again, you need to open up to the people who are close to you, who are, trustworthy people, because that's how you develop as a human being. So for me, the simplest thing to say would be like, be honest to yourself. Hard work has no substitute. I've been trying to find for the last 15, 20 years. Hard work has no substitute. A bit of luck is needed. Often it doesn't always go your way. So being a bit careless also is important, because you can't be caring about everything in life. Often you have to be careless. So, let's say if we have a match, so Flem comes to me, is like, this player is injured. So I'm like, okay. Like, what do you mean, okay? I'm like, that's how it is. He's injured, he can't participate. I would rather use my brain on filling that space. And think, Acha, he got injured, what happened to him? What is Tommy saying? Tommy is the physio. What is he saying? Okay, when he will get fit? So I wasted that time. I need that time to say, okay, this is the combination we can play with, this is how we'll use the resources, so that we get the desired result. So often being careless is important. Often being stubborn is important. I can't just keep changing my view because everybody comes to me and says something. Often these were the characters when we were growing up, like we were told that these are not good characters to have. You can't be careless, you can't be stubborn. But with the world changing, I feel it needs to be used in the right way, and you can channelize it for the good of yourself and the people around you. So I think adaptability is key. We get a very good player in our team, but he's drastically different to our environment. So what do we look for? We want him to take that one step towards the team's goal. We are happy to move 3 steps towards him. But let's say if that's not the case, the second best thing is, okay, you keep doing what you're doing, but don't disrupt us. So that's the second best option. The third is, you have to let him go. So these are the 3 scenarios, because at the end of the day, whether it's business or sport, we want to do well. So one of the jobs of the think tank is to get the most out of the individual. So if he's very good for the team, I will have to try whatever different ways to make sure that he's an asset to the team. But he also needs to be willing to take that step. So if he doesn't take the first step, fair enough. I have a second in line, I have a third in line. But at some point of time, I don't want the whole team to adapt to the individual, because that is wrong. So you have to let him go. He may be the greatest player, but you have to let him go. And somebody else, will come and will take his place. He may not be as good as him, but he will help the team perform better. I think also gratitude, what we are missing in modern society is gratitude. So let's say whatever I'm entitled to or whatever perks I have, instead of having gratitude for what I'm getting, we start thinking this is like my birthright, this is what I deserve. So basically you are looking for more. And that's where, life becomes even more difficult, because the institution or the people, they're trying to give a lot to you, but since you don't have that gratitude, you think, this is what I deserve, I need more. Okay, what's next? Next year, what you're doing for me. So I feel gratitude is very important, and it simplifies life. You have so many things, you rather want to enjoy those things and still strive for more, but enjoy it, be grateful for what you have. So I feel all the youngsters growing up, they should have a bit more, gratitude about, people who are doing good things to them.